And hello everyone, welcome back to your new Python tutorial. So today we'll actually be starting with code. Finally, after 3 full tutorials of not doing actually any code, we'll start today. So today we'll just be starting out with printing text to the screen. So you might have seen me do this a lot in previous tutorials where I just said print and then I said like hello world. Now this is basically a way to print text to the screen. You know, if you open up your terminal like right here and I said execute it, I should probably save the program first. If I say execute it, it says hello world. Let's clear the screen here. So yeah, it says hello world. That's what print does. If I create another print that says hello world, I paste it there and there, it's going to do it 3 times. Hello world, hello world, hello world. And there is more ways to actually use hello world. But first let's get to the execution order. Now the execution order is how the program executes. It's fairly simple. It starts at the top and it executes them one by one until it gets to the bottom. So a good way to demonstrate this is by drawing a triangle. Damn, I just forgot what that was. So let's draw a triangle. Now this triangle is going to be pretty big, so we have to compensate for that. So that should be perfect. Now let's build it from the top down. So above your enter button and below your backspace button, if you press shift and click that button, you get a pipe. And yeah, that's if you have a US keyboard, QWERTY. And then 2 backslashes. Now why 2 backslashes? Now a backslash is basically a way to escape. Because some things in these quotation marks cannot be displayed. For example, a backslash or another 2 quotation marks. This is going to cause an error. So then you can use a backslash and whatever you want to escape it. So backslash, and then we can just put that there. And if we run this, just for example's sake, as you can see it has a backslash. But if we were to remove this backslash and we try and run it now, we're going to get an error because this is being escaped. It's not a real quotation mark. Now, of course, we can always, if we want to do that, we can use normal quotation or single quotation marks, and then we can put in double quotation marks in there. But now, what if we want to put a single quotation marks in single quotation marks? Then we can just escape it. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to show you. So backslash to escape the backslash. And then we can just build down from here. So I'm going to add a pipe in every single one of them. Gosh. Add a pipe. Okay. And now I'm going to add another backslash. But remember, there might be 2 backslashes here, but the one that you'll actually see is the first one. Because that is where the space is being, that's where it's being escaped. So yes, we go like this, 1, 2, add 2 backslashes. We can actually copy this, and then 1, 2, 3, add backslashes. We can actually copy this because now it's getting a little bit big. So these are underscores, for in case you didn't know. So if we run this, as you can see, this code executes from the top all the way to the bottom. So if we're going to move this bottom part and we're going to put it here in the middle, then we will execute the bottom part before it gets to the bottom because it's in the middle. So that's the operation of executing. You should take this in consideration with the future because this is going to matter. So we can actually now delete that. Okay, so we already talked about escaping characters. So one is escape the double quotes inside of a double quotes thing. You can like a word. If we run this, it'll be words in double quotes. Or you can just use single quotes, but you know, it depends on the user themselves. Okay, and then we can then we have a bunch of others. So if something doesn't display, you can just use a backslash to put it in there. Then we have the normal print as we talked about, like hello world, which just prints text to the screen. Nothing special. We run this hello world anyways. And then we can also print numbers. Now take note that this 2 and this right here is not the same, because this is a word. Words are basically defined within quotation marks, whether they are single or double quotation marks. This is a number. So whilst they are the same, we cannot do this hello world. We cannot do that, because this doesn't exist. This doesn't exist in Python. So you have to go hello world. But you can also do this. But take note, these two are different. We'll get more into why they're different in a future video, but for right now, these two are different. But you can run them, and you'll get the same result, because this one is a word, whilst this one is a number. You can also go something like 2.99, and you'll get 2.99. Okay. And then we can concatenate. Now, concatenation is basically when you put two words together. If you go, you have the word hello, right? And then you have the word world. Now, if you concatenate hello and world, you'll get hello world, because you concatenated the two. So, to concatenate in a print, you can just type print, and in thing 1 you want to concatenate, let's say hello, and then with a comma, and then thing 2 you want to concatenate, so world. Then if you print that, you get hello world, and it automatically puts a space there for you, so you don't have to add a space. You can also hello plus world, but then you have to add your own space. So then if you run it, then you get the same effect. But you should also take note. Let's say we want to say there are, and then plus 2, because we want to say how many impostors. Is that how you spell it? I don't really care. Impostors among us. Now if you were trying to run this, you get an error, because this number is not the same as a word. Now one way to fix it is you can just put this in a quotation marks, and then problem solved. It works perfectly fine. Or, because this will be really helpful in the future, you can concatenate using commas. Then you can just remove all of the extra spaces. If you run this, you get the same effect. Then it automatically converts this into a string for you. And then also, once more, you can go print and true. This will print, unlike if you said word, world, or whatever, it will print. So if you run that, it says true. So, but you can also put this in quotation marks, but then they're not the same thing anymore. But also take note, just because this gets transformed into a string does not mean if you're going to put, and there are 2, if you're going to try that, they're going to get an error, because this text is not a word, but it's also not a number. This is a variable. We'll get later into what variables are and stuff, but for right now, just know that you can't do that, but you can do this, or 2 if you want to have 2 there. It's up to you. So yeah, thank you for watching.